Hi there. Thank you for stopping by to share with Julie today. I hope you're having a fantabulous day today. I really hope the start to the new year has been really good so far. So, 2017 is here. And, I've been thinking, normally at the beginning of the year, because I myself sometimes have done this, made resolutions things I wanted to do during the year, and some of it I just never got around to it, to be honest. Sometimes after a few weeks, you even forget what it is you even made a list about. And, and sometimes I think it's because sometimes it's the nature of what we have, put before us, and sometimes everyday life just kind of gets in the way of us achieving the things that we, are so optimistic about at the beginning of the year. But what I am going to do now is to just, list a few things that I think are, really important to our everyday lives, and things that we can consider making changes um, that could, you know, improve our lives in general, help to make us happier, hopefully. And so I'm just going to list a few things. I think we all should consider myself included. And the first is health, always working to improving health. That is important. And whether it is that you're someone who has a relatively healthy diet, or someone who, has a diet that is not a diet that is health promoting. This is an opportunity, a new year, new opportunity to give yourself a chance to embrace a healthier diet, a healthier way of life, and just continue to make health be the forefront in terms of, going forward, and always trying to eat right as best as possible. Nobody's perfect, none of us is perfect, but always try to do more good than bad as it pertains to our health, and always maintaining a plant-based diet. If you are someone who is not on a plant-based diet at the moment, you know, start in stages and start inching towards that, a plant-based diet. You will definitely be glad you have, especially if it's a diet that is predominantly based in fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and a few nuts and seeds. So that's the first thing. Make health and wellness your main goal. The second thing is career. Career. Ask yourself, are you doing something that you enjoy doing? Oftentimes we get into careers or into jobs that really doesn't serve us per se. They don't do anything for us, um, you know, from a mental perspective, from a perspective of fulfillment. But I know that oftentimes we do jobs, because myself, included, because you need to pay the bill. And that is all well and good. But you know what? As far as I know, none of us are going to live forever on this, piece of rock. So it's important that we spend part of that time doing things that give us fulfillment, and having a career that, we like, or working in a job that we like, is also one way of improving our lives. That is one way of improving our lives. And so if you're doing a job that you don't like doing at the moment, you know, start to look at ways in which you can get into doing what it is that you would really, really like to do, or any type of job that you would really like. And if you feel stuck, maybe you can find a hobby, something else that you enjoy outside of your 9 to 5. So it's a good time of year to examine your career and examine what impact it is making on your lives. And for some people I know probably don't have a career. They probably don't feel they have any specific skills. There are a number of places online now that you could learn new skills free of cost, and I'll also do a video about that too, for people who feel that their skill sets are limited and they want to explore other areas but are not sure how to go about it. So that's the second thing. The third thing I think is important is sleep. Is sleep. Getting quality sleep. Getting quality sleep. Sometimes it's not even so much about the hours that one sleep, as in getting real deep rejuvenating sleep. And wherever you go in the world, you find that we are a sleep deprived species, and this affects us in many ways, from moodiness to anxiety. And sleeping in general helps to boost the immune system and enhance brain power. So try to get restful sleep. And sometimes our sleep cycle is affected by some of the things we do. So start to try to develop a pattern in terms of sleeping, going to bed at a particular time, not using your computer or your cell phone at least an hour before you go to bed, and make sure that your room is dark, you know and also maybe keeping a journal to write down your thoughts before you go to bed, so that you're not lying there with them in your head, going over and over in your head. So that's a topic, that's a wide topic onto itself, but it is a reality that many of us don't get proper sleep, and it does affect us in more ways than one. So um, explore the ways in which you can get better sleep. The fourth, I would say, is meditation. Meditate, quiet the mind, quiet the mind. You know, I've experienced this too, where my mind sometimes just chatter and chatter and chatter. And sometimes we need to just quiet the mind and find a peaceful place where we can and rest from a mental perspective, and start getting in tune with oneself, and getting in tune, getting in touch with not just our inner self, but feeling at one with the universe in general. And this often starts with meditation. And yoga is also great. So if you could get uh, to a yoga class, or even start doing some yoga on your own, there are lots of yoga videos on YouTube. That's also an option. The fifth is learn to forgive. Sometimes people have hurt us, and sometimes it's difficult, to be honest, to get past it. But to keep holding on to hurt is and not being able to forgive people and embrace forgiveness only ends up hurting us in the long run, you know. So find ways of coping, you know, of letting go of anger, of forgiving people. Sometimes you could do things like start keeping a journal, writing, expressing the way you feel. Because sometimes the people that hurt us, we can't express ourselves to them for various reasons. And that is one way. Keeping a journal is one way of expressing that hurt, expressing that anger, and write it down, leave it in that book, and close the book on it. You know, and I'm not saying forget, because you can't just forget if somebody has hurt you or somebody has done something really negative, you know, from your perspective that affects you um, in not a very good way. But at the same time, you can learn to let go. It's something that I have embraced in my life, and I think I am better for it. And I think other people can benefit from, you know, forgiveness, learning to forgive. The sixth thing I would say to, you know, embrace for 2017 is to be grateful. Be grateful. Be grateful for just being alive. Every day that you are alive, be grateful. There are many people who don't live to see another day, you know. Be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful for the people in your lives. Because it doesn't matter how bad we think things are for us, there's always someone else who could potentially be or are in worse situations than we are. So be grateful for what you have. Reflect, or rather, reflect on what it is that you're grateful for every day, and also think on the things that, you know, you want to entertain in your life. You want to entertain in the people that are around you, their lives also. So, you know, that's also one way of just improving one's life for 2017. Be grateful. Number seven, learn something new every day. If you don't want to learn something new every day, at least make it every week. Learn something new. Maybe take on a new hobby, you know. Learn something new that you never really knew about health, about how the body works, about how herbs work, about religion, about politics, you know. So keep the mind, you know, fresh. Keep the mind. This is what keeps the mind functioning and get all of that cobweb out. You know, use it. Use the mind. Do crossword puzzles, you know, to keep the mind. Read things. Read, you know, whether read a book, you know, seek to acquire knowledge. Number eight, be aware of what is happening in our world today. There are a lot of things that are happening, especially as it pertains to, you know, health and wellness, and what is happening with our food, what is happening with our water supply, what is happening to the animals in this world. The fact that so many animals, you know, are being killed every year for food, for us, you know, that in itself is mind-boggling. And not only is it destructive to the planet, the reality is that it's something that we will not escape, and that is why there are so many diseases being manifested, and it's because of some of these things that we are doing. The more we learn and understand what is happening and what is being done to the planet, and the fact that many of us, you know, are passive observers, and knowing or unknowingly and to what is happening to this world, and the fact that this is the legacy that we're leaving for kids, for some of us, our grandkids, our nephews, nieces. This is the legacy that we're leaving, and knowing what is happening is the only way that we can play our little part in our own way to make a difference in this world. So that's the next thing. That's an important thing, to keep in mind. But the ninth thing is to just always bear in mind that we live in a world where we're all dependent on each other in some way. We're dependent on other species in as much as other species are dependent on us. And I think we need to appreciate that. We don't appreciate that enough. Um, we somehow think that we are rulers of this earth, and we should not give a thought to any other species that lives, or inhabit this world. And so I think that, what, we need to really, really get out of that. And I think that only when we learn to appreciate that we are just a little speck on this planet, and, playing our role and going through life just as any other species, and the fact that other species, lends to us what their role, their presence in this world enable us to live a better life. I mean, even look at bacteria. We talk about bacteria. We talk about, oh, bacteria is so bad. They are so bad. But we've got trillions of bacteria in our stomach, that without which we would surely die, and they form an integral part of our structure. And so it's important that we just be mindful that we are a part of this whole system, this whole universe, just as other species are, and we all have a right to be here. The 10th thing is to unshackle the mind. Unshackle the mind. We get caught up in all these ideologies, in the politics, in the religion, and everybody who tries to tell us who we are and who we ought to be. And we never get in touch with self. And we just, follow the guru. That's just the way some of us live day to day. We just follow a guru, and we're always looking for a guru, someone to lead us somewhere, when in fact the answers start within. And if we are to really start looking at something, not look at what everybody tells us, but following our instincts and looking at what information is there, then we would find that we don't get so bogged down in things such as religion, people killing other people, killing another human being because they have another belief, a different belief rather. How ridiculous that is. That is really, really ridiculous. So I say this is a year in which you unshackle the mind. Seek to unshackle the mind. Learn truth. Don't stick to one source of information. Look at all that is out there and be willing to examine, be willing to learn something new, and be willing to be up. So that's my thought, and that's what I wanted to say to you guys. All the best for 2017. Let's make it a great one. Thank you for stopping by. Have a fantabulous day. Like, share my videos, and don't forget to comment.